My name is Annetta Stembridge, and I am the clerk of Superior and State Court here in Douglas County. And I want to welcome you to the courthouse. I've been the clerk for almost 4 years, and I got re-elected, so you'll have me another 4 years. One of the things that I like to do as the clerk is to reach out to the community. And this meeting was actually prompted by our Board of Equalization Chairman, Mr. Joe Douglas. And he wanted to make sure everybody knew the appropriate way to do your appeals so that it benefits you more. So I thought that was just a great thing. So we just threw in, everybody else that works with real estate in the county, except Ms. Rosalyn McDonald. She's one of the real estate agents in the community, and she partnered with us to have this meeting. I'm not going to talk long because I spoke about this so often. In our office, we have had issues with deed theft. And some of you probably saw me on the news because I think I was on all of the channels. And I've been out throughout the community talking about this because one day I went in my record room and there was a lady in there crying. And I went up to her and I said, "Ma'am, what's wrong?" And she said, "I don't own my house anymore, I don't think." She said, "I went to stay with my daughter, and when I got back, there were people living in my house." And she said, "I see here that it's in somebody else's name." Now for me, I was a new clerk. I'd only been there a little over a year, and that blew my mind. And I was like, that can't be. And when we looked at it, it was true that according to those deeds now, somebody else owned her home. I'm not sure if she ever got it back. I knew it was a while if she got it back. But what they do is they go on, y'all know you can get anything off the internet now. They go on the internet and they pull up a deed and they look authentic and they complete that deed. And then they quitclaim it to themselves. And it's another name, but they use a fraudulent notary, and they do all kinds of things with it. But this has actually blown my mind. We had about 7 cases in Douglas County, and I've been advocating for change. And since then, we have come up with a plan called FANS. And Camille, you got some of those flyers?
Yes, they have them.
But FANS will allow you to be notified if there's activity on your deed, and you know that you didn't do it. So you want to take action if there's activity on property that you own and you know you weren't doing it. And what that does is it allows you to act on it quickly. Most of the times when you act on it quickly, you can get it resolved. But if you let it linger, sometimes you may not get your home back. So I think we've done well with it because we have not had any in Douglas County the last year. So I think we've done pretty well with getting the word out. So if you have not signed up for FANS, make sure you do that. Because people think that we have control over that, but we have no control. We file, we accept your filings, That's what we're supposed to do. And the law says we can't question a deed if it meets our criteria. And now they look authentic. They'll take them to the bank, get loans on them, and all kinds of things. So you just need to be real careful and protect your property. Ms. Rosalyn McDonald, who is partnered with us today, she will speak to you about ways to help prevent fraud. Y'all know there's a lot of that going on. We have really buckled down on our notaries. You used to could just walk in there and get a notary. Now we require a criminal background check, and a lot of them are being denied. And we have a lot of them coming in. So just be mindful of these kind of things. All notaries are not real. You can always call our office, and we can, if it's Douglas County, we can tell you whether it's real. It's a real notary. But I'm going to turn it over to Ms. McDonald. Does anybody have any questions about the theft? Yes, ma'am.
One of the questions that I have, you said the notaries can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. The notary, is there some type of registered number attached to the notary where like we can check that for a website or to make sure it's legitimate? The
Yes.
person?
Yeah, you can go on the Douglas County website, or you can call our office.
Oh, and I'm saying like somebody else, like outside of the office or here. I say I go to a notary, somebody that says they.
Not outside of the county. Well, it's county to county. If you live in Douglas County, you have to get your notary here. And so we can tell you whether it's authentic or not.
They don't have a registered number or anything.
They do, but you have to. I think you can get it online. Not sure about that, but I know that it goes through the Clerk's Authority, and you can get it through our office to make sure.
It's authentic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can you check online to see whose name the deed is in?
Yes. And, or, of course, you can come in the record room, but you can check it online as well. Yes.
If there's a loan on a house, my mortgage company, and people come in and they do their little quick whatever thing, the mortgage company then has to have some kind of notification, do they not?
No.
That it's been stolen. So I'm stuck paying on a house that is in.
Yes. There was and you can go on YouTube, there was a man who, this was DeKalb County. He owned a home, and somebody put a second mortgage on his home, and they did not pay it, and they foreclosed on his home. And he's still there, but now he pays like a $2,500 rent to the new company that owns the home now. And they actually did that by fraudulent deeds. I mean, it's amazing.
Okay, this is probably getting a little way ahead of the whole thing. Who is the stop gate for fraudulent things to happen? You say you get deeds in, they look normal, but isn't there a clearinghouse, somewhere where?
Well, it's just like any other crime, it's a crime. So the best thing, if that happens to you, get an attorney to help change it around, and you have to get them quickly. And of course, it's a crime.
So do I need to just be checking every week online to see if I still own my home or
The
not?
fans, and there's information, sign up for it. And it will let you know if anybody is doing anything on your property. And it's not you, so if it's not you, then you check it out, and you may have to get a lawyer to help you just to keep, just so you can keep them from fully taking it. Because usually those transactions take, a few days. But if you can intervene quickly, then most likely you can stop them. I mean, it's unfortunate, and I wish I had something else to tell you about that, but I've been dealing with it for the last 3 years, and it's just amazing that somebody can take your house. And again, some people are paying a note, and somebody's put another mortgage on there. One instance, a lady moved in with her son, and they left her house. When they came back to her house, somebody had actually bought the house from a builder and renovated the house, and they knocked on the door, and they said, "I own this house," And he said, "Let me call my builder." Of course, the builder was gone. He couldn't find him. But, they watch certain houses, and then, if they see them vacant for a certain amount of time, sometimes they'll just take them. So,
I think you're also a primary target if your house is paid for.
Yes.
A lot of senior citizens.
That's right.
Whose mortgage is paid for, that's a target. And I will mention, there is a service out there similar to LifeLock
right.
that you can get it for your home, because I have it.
And
This
it's,
is
yeah.
a major
it's-
concern for me, because
Yeah.
I've heard too many stories that just turn my hair gray. And just,
How much is that insurance?
I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a.
I think it's about, it's 20, it's
LifeLock.
Is it monthly fee?
yeah, title lock. It's called title lock. It's,
Title lock.
$26 a month.
Monthly.
yeah, $26 a month. I can't vouch for them. I don't know. I do know that
Disclaimer.
we can only protect so much, but, if you sign, fans is, it'll notify you, yeah. I'm sorry?
I went on the county website and you go through there, right? And you set it all up with your email.
Right,
Now, I put all, because with my situation, there's 4 people on the deed. So I put all of their names and even my name with my maiden or my married, and it'll notify if any of those names come up with something, right? Because you have to put any kind of
it
name.
should.
Okay.
Question, I think,
I think it would.
I just want to say that I thank you for doing this.
Yes.
Because this is a huge concern to those of us who have worked our lives to make retirement comfortable.
I definitely understand. It was just amazing to me the first time
Yes.
I heard about it. I was like, is this real?
Do you know if they're gonna start implementing rules or stops to this?
There is a law, Bill 1292. Is it Jeremy 1292?
Yes. House Bill 1292.
It is proposed. It has not been signed by the governor. If he signs it, it'll be the beginning of the year. Now, even though it's in place, what it does, it allows the clerk to get ID. However, it's still not gonna, stop the thieves, but it's better. It'll make it harder for them to get the property. And I don't know whether he's gonna sign the bill. It has a lot of glitches, because it's the Open Records Act allow you to do a lot of things. And so, as a clerk, the law says we can't question a deed. If it comes in and it meets criteria, we can't question it. So, now with the license, we can ask some questions, but we can't get too deep because we're not here to be, you know, like a paralegal or legal advocate and try to prove something. We just are supposed to take the filings. So, it's me.
I'm a retiree, I worked for the state 30 years, and I do have my notary, and I did my duties. I don't need my notary no more, so I gotta wait till it runs out, because I don't wanna do it no more. Yes,
You're
ma'am.
in the county?
I am in the
Well, you can
county.
come up, we'll draw it for you.
You do what?
Come to the clerk's office, and we will take care of it.
You want it out? Okay.
Mhm. No problem. I don't know why you don't want it, but.
Well, I'm retired, I did 30 years. After 30 years, it's time to go sit down.
Okay,
Young folks to get their retirement.
I have a question
okay.
concerning like the funds. So you keep mentioning when they come to, with the deeds, that you can't question the deeds as long as they look legitimate.
Right.
Is there anything else required when they submit a deed to you? Or you guys just take any deeds? Like, is
The only thing that is required is
anything required?
if it has to have certain things on it. It has to be that look that we look for.
So I don't have to give
If
a
somebody-
ID, a bill of
No,
sale, a
you don't do
mortgage
anything.
document,
No.
a probate.
See, we're not the police.
The deed is your bill of sale.
Yeah, we're just taking.
The deed is your receipt. Recorded, deed is the receipt.
So that,
Okay. All right, so Ms. McDonald is gonna go through, that process, and she's gonna talk more about, protecting your property. I'm sorry.
I know how to get online to see what my taxes are. Where do you go to see your deed online? Is that another
We
site?
still gotta go to Douglas County.
So is another site on DouglasCounty.com?
I can show you.
Okay,
He's gonna show you.
See me after, I'll show you.
Yeah.
so we can at least do that.
Look, we got everybody here from real estate, so just hold on. Okay, Ms. McDonald, she is a real estate agent in the county, and she's partnering with us, and we're so glad to have her. The rest of us are county people, and we're a team. We work for you, and she wants to work for you too. Is that right?
Thank you, Ms. Annetta. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. So I met Ms. Annetta back in June. I actually did a title fraud seminar back in June, and that's when I met Ms. Annetta. I actually had a closing, and the closing attorney is part of her fan. And so every time we do a closing, they hand out her fans flyer, and we ask all of our new buyers to sign up for fans. So you asked about, is there any gatekeepers or stop gates? The answer is no. We are those gatekeepers. A little bit about me. I have been, how does this thing work? Oh, wow. Okay. That's too far away. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm actually a realtor, and I also have my broker's license. I also teach pre-license, so I teach new agents. I've been doing this a little over 20 years. I started out as a real estate investor. I migrated from California here 20 years ago, April 2004. So all things real estate, I have dived into it. And the biggest driving force for me is I want to be an advocate for all of my customers. Because there's a lot of things that the public does not know that I feel you should know. The biggest thing that's going on right now is real estate fraud. Some of the experiences I have had, and it's still going on today, I've got 2 houses on my street right now, and I keep calling them in. They are rental properties. And the scammers are finding these properties, they're advertising them as their own, they're collecting upfront deposits, sending these people to these properties, saying, hey, go look at it, we got your deposit, we'll hold it for you so nobody else can rent it while you're looking at it. and then those scammers disappear with those deposits. And now those people are out money. I actually showed a property where a lady had moved in, the cable company was in the driveway, I knocked on the door to show the property because it was for sale, and the lady was like, well, I just moved in. She rented it. So now her security deposit, first month's rent is gone because she moved into a property that the scammer did not own. So she had to be evicted from that property. So it happens a lot. I don't know if you guys heard in the news with the Elvis Presley Graceland, how it went to auction. That was all over the news. There was a lady, she got a deed, she got a hold of someone's notary stamp, and she forged it. And she acted as if she was part of the estate to put it up for auction. And it was because of someone else's due diligence that said, something doesn't look right with the signature. They tracked down the real notary, knocked on that notary's door and asked them, is this your signature? And she said no. And that is how that auction got stopped. So it takes a lot of us to be diligent and proactive. One thing I tell a lot of my customers to do, if you have a home, like you said, your home is paid off, go take out a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. You can do that. It's money. It's just sitting there for you to use if you need to. If you don't, you don't. But when scammers see that there's already a large mortgage on a house, they're going to bypass it because it's not an easy target. They want something that has a lot of equity in it or it's completely paid off.
So you say it is less risk with the loan?
Yes. With a high. So let's say and I'm going to go deeper into this. So let's say the value of your home is say $300,000, and let's say you have a loan for $250. Scammers are less likely to look at that property. If your value is $300 and your loan is only $100,000, they're more likely to look at that property. Because that's another thing they can do. They can take out a second loan, just like Ms. Annetta said. They can take out a second loan on your property and you are liable for that second loan because they don't exist.
What does a HELOC do?
A HELOC is like a credit card on your house
How does that determine?
because it looks like you have it's a second lien. When you get a HELOC, it's registered through the bank as a second lien.
So they want a third?
No. Yeah. So they're a second position lien holder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The other company that the other young lady was talking about is Title Lock, which is similar to LifeLock. Again, I can't vouch for them. I've seen their ads, I've seen their commercials. I've tried to get a representative available to speak with us in person. Haven't been able to do that yet. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but that's another form of protection. One thing I would also recommend is if you have vacant property, let's say you have a vacation home or a second home, do periodic property checks. I had a situation just this May. One of my agents sent me an email. It was a seller that wanted to sell their home up in Helen, Georgia. They wanted to do everything over the internet. They wanted to do everything by emails, electronic signature. They did not want to show up in person. Because they were like, I live out of state. Can't we just do this transaction via email, electronic signature? Fortunately enough, my agent came to me and was like, something doesn't sound right. Can I ask this person for a copy of their driver's license to prove they are who they are? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Whenever we go out to show property, if you've never met this person before, ask them for a copy of their driver's license. You want to know who you're seeing. We can do the same thing for sellers. So whenever you're working with a real estate professional, ask them what practices do they have in place to protect you as a consumer. Because that is very, very, very important. So fortunately enough, when we asked them for their driver's license, they disappeared. They were a scammer. So it's prevalent and it's happening. I know Ms. Annetta said we have 7 cases in Douglas County.
7?
I think she said 7, right?
Yes.
But across the state of Georgia, it's in the hundreds of thousands. It's a lot. Because we have a lot of the mountainous vacation properties where people are targeting. I'm gonna try and ask your question. I'm gonna try and do this really quick. Go ahead, ask your question.
If someone signs up for fans and another person tries to open up a mortgage or do something, would that alert? That would alert the owner of the property that someone's trying to do something illegal with the property?
Yes.
And could someone take out a HELOC, a homeowner take out a HELOC on their house and not use it if they don't want to?
Yes. Yeah, you can take out a HELOC. So yes, you can take out a HELOC. It's just like a credit card. So you can apply for a credit card, you can get this high balance on it and never use it. You don't use it, you're not paying on it. Same thing with the HELOC. The HELOC, the only thing it's gonna do is hold a second position lien holder on your property. And if for any reason you ever need it, you may have a medical emergency, you might want to remodel your house, the money's there, but if you never use it, you don't use it.
Do you have to pay
They
for
make
it?
you
HELOC?
take a minimum.
Only if you use it.
No.
No,
Yes. On a HELOC,
Only if you use
So
it.
is that every loan I'm thinking about?
home equity line of credit.
Okay, home equity loan is different from what you just said, right?
So I'm talking about a home equity line of credit, a HELOC. Because I have one on my house.
Home equity loan, there's a minimum.
Okay, I can't speak to the
Okay,
loan.
okay, but I hear
Yeah, the equity line of credit is just that, it's a line of credit. If you don't use it, you're good. But it's a second position lien holder on your property to deter scammers.
And if a person, if you open up a HELOC and then you close it, it's gonna impact your credit score because that's gonna be a major drop depending on the value of your property. Correct?
Okay, I can't speak to that. If you're not using it, you want to talk to your lender that you have the line of credit with. So I know for me, my equity line of credit is good for 10 years. So it's just sitting there for 10 years. I can use it or not.
And then it just expires?
And then it just expires. Because all you're doing is you're using the equity, which is why it's called home equity line of credit. You're using your equity as the line of credit against your house. So I don't know how that would impact your score. You might want to talk to your lender about that. Any more questions on that?
Yes, is it like you just, if you do use it, let's say, for, you gotta fix the bathroom or something like that, you just pay that line back, like a credit card?
Correct.
Just the same?
Correct, yeah. And you're just paying yourself back when you're using your own equity. Yeah. And the interest rates on equity line of credits are a lot cheaper than credit cards anyway, so.
That's the advantage.
Yeah, that's a big advantage.
How's it affected if the equity on your home changes constantly?
It's not. So I got mine a couple years ago. My equity, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but my equity has gone up. If I don't reapply to increase that line of credit, then it just stays stagnant.
Right.
So it doesn't. So if you're in an area where your equity is just skyrocketing year over year over year, then you might want to revisit it and say, okay, let's increase it. But if you're not, then you're good. Okay? Okay. Give me 1 second. So what I wanted to show you guys really quick, we're talking about how scammers can find properties. This is a public site. I just wanted to pull it up for you. The only parameters I put in there, I put Douglasville. I need a minimum of a 2-bedroom house. I want homes that have a minimum equity of $200,000, so $200,000 or more in equity. And the owner is absentee, which means they don't live at the property. That's all I did for Douglasville. and the property is not on the market, and it's not for sale, it's not listed with a real estate agent. So just in Douglasville, I got 96 houses. So that's 96 targets.
This is something that anyone could pull up.
Anyone can pull up. It's public record.
Can you read the URL address?
I can. I can email it. I could, if you give me the list, I can email it to everybody. Yeah. Yeah. You can go into Zillow and do this.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, you can go into any real estate website and do this. Yeah.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just want to say it for the record.
Okay.
So the URL is fmls.remine.com/DeSoto.
Yeah. But like I said, there's so many out there. PropStream can do it. FreedomSoft, like, you can literally Google real estate websites, and any of them will do this. This is the one I use because I get it for free because I'm a realtor. But literally, any of them can do it. You can pay $100 a month, you know, have 96 targets, and you can profit well over $100 a month. So that's how easy this is. Yes, ma'am.
So if I went on Zillow, what's the information I have to put in to pull up this, which you have on the screen?
So if you go into Zillow and you're a scammer, you want to pull in what you're trying to target. So let's say you want to target Douglasville, you want to target Carrollton, you want to target Decatur. That's the city you put in. You want to find properties with X amount of dollars in equity or more.
That's what
That's
the information.
Exactly. So whatever you're looking for, that's what you put in, and this is how easy it is to get it. So that's just the point. This is an example. I'm just letting you know how easy it is and why it's important for you to be diligent to protect your homes. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Is this coming in conjunction with all of the phone calls I've been getting in the last 2 months over, do you want to sell your home? And I tell them, quite frankly, $7.2 million.
Is that how the scammers start?
Excuse me?
Is that how the scammers start?
No. No, those are investors. Those are investors that are looking to buy your house. Yeah. Trust me, I get them. Jeremy, what is going on?
It's blanking out.
I am. Okay. There. It's good. It's good. It's good. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on that? So I do have to move on. Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay. So, one other thing I wanted to tell you guys, for all of you that are homeowners, it's really, really important for you to also protect your investment, get a home inspection. A lot of people think, okay, well, I need a home inspection when I'm buying a house. No, ma'am, no, sir. Please get routine home inspections. If it's once every 2 or 3 years, once every 5 years, once every 10 years, get a home inspection so you know what's going on with your home. Especially in Georgia, we get a lot of rain and then we get a lot of heat. The ground, it expands and it contracts. It can affect your foundation. It can affect your walls. You want to get your roofs checked. You want to get your HVAC system checked. A lot of trees and bushes and shrubbery, they can grow into your walls. They can grow into your foundations. Please get your homes checked on a regular basis. Home inspections cost maybe $5 to $7. I know that's a lot for a lot of people. But it's worth it in the long run. It'll save you thousands, okay? Local trends, I would have to talk about the trends, so really quick, I'm not gonna go through all that stuff. Right now, the market is starting to stable out. Before we were in a buyer's market, everything was a frenzy. Things are starting to stable out. Interest rates have gone up. They're starting to come down a little bit. The inventory is still low, but sellers are trying to sit tight a little bit because they can't afford to buy anything, so they want to wait. Buyers are kind of being a little bit more picky because instead of paying 2 or 3%, and then they have a lot of money to fix up a house, now looking at 6, 7, 8%, they don't have as much money to fix up a house. So they're not as quick to jump in and stuff. So the market is starting to stable out a little bit. Okay, so if you're thinking about buying and or selling, just keep that in mind as far as the market trends go. I know I breezed through that, I'm sorry. Any other questions? No? Okay. I'm headed out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, good evening. My name is Janita Walker. I am the Executive Assistant to Tax Commissioner Greg Baker. Along with me, I have my team. I have my Chief Deputy Tax Commissioner, Sharon Jackson, and I have my Tax Manager, Sharon Mayfield, in the back in case you guys do have any questions. So, the tax office, the tax commissioner. Basically what we do in our office is we just collect on the property taxes, mobile homes, and personal properties, and we disperse to the different entities. We do not have anything to do with the fair market value. You must know that. You guys can attack him on that. We do not have anything to do with setting the millage rate. It's the Board of Commissioners, okay? We do not have anything to do with the appeal process. Mr. Eugene is here to address those questions as well. Like I said, we collect on the property taxes. We disperse to the different entities, which is the city of Douglasville, the city of Villa Rica, Austell, the school board, and the county. Those funds is what's used by the counties and the different entities to help set the budgets that they use for EMS, the sheriff's office, the different departments within those cities. Yes. As the collections come in, by law, they have to disperse to the different entities as they are collected. So the way how you see your property tax bill and you see the separate line items, as those funds are collected, they are cut and sent to those different entities as such. Do you guys have any questions?
Where's your office?
6200 Fairburn Road.
Do you would complain about my tax bill?
Well, I would offer your payment plan. Homestead exemption. She just touched homestead exemption. Okay. Yes. The homestead exemption, the deadline for it is April 1st. Okay? If you become a homeowner this year, you're not going to be recorded as the owner on file until 1st of the following year. So, but you have until April 1st to file for that homestead exemption. If you are 62 and over, there is a senior exemption, and you can revisit it once more when you make 65. They give you like a little more incentive, you know, there. Mr. Eugene here, again. What? Why not? You're just here. You see me helping me out. He's pointing out too. So Mr. Eugene's department, he is actually the manager for the homestead clerk, which they're the ones who actually do the approvals of the applications. We take it in our office, but then we process it, we make sure all the documents are there, and then we send it upstairs, and they're the ones who do the approval and denial of such. Any questions? Sorry. Yes.
Is there an exemption for veterans or 100% veterans?
Yes, and Eugene can actually answer that question, or if anything, he'll give you the information of who you need to contact tomorrow, which is his homestead clerk, and she'll let you know all the required documents for that, because there are specific documents that are needed when you are filing for certain exemptions, especially if you're a disabled veteran. There's certain documents that need to be required in order for them to approve it.
I have a couple questions. The first one is in response to appealing the tax, your taxes. Does that go through your office? Does that go
It's going to go through Eugene.
Okay, so he'll.
Hold it right phone.
I'm just saying one thing, you cannot appeal taxes.
Well,
That's
okay,
against the
that's
law,
what I'm
you
saying.
cannot
How should I say
appeal
it?
taxes.
So what am I appealing?
That
Your
your
fair market
your
value.
value, denial of exemption, a denial of covenant, or you can appeal based on your performance. But you cannot appeal taxes.
Okay, so I said.
So well, there's a reason, and there's a reason I say that. Because you can have the same house and have two different tax bills. Two different people can have the same house, have two different tax bills. And people like to come in and say, well, somebody had paid $700 and I'm paying $1,000. I'll appeal. But the value is the same. So you cannot appeal taxes.
Okay, thank you for that clarity. Second, is there, would you be the one to explain how the pot, there's a pot of taxes collected? And you mentioned how the different various entities, off sale, the commissioners, organization, all of them get, you all send checks out from that kitty, and they call it a kitty. Can you explain how the impact of the millage rate, how each of those organizations sets the millage rate and the impact that has?
We can't speak for the millage rate, like I said, because the millage rate is set by the Board of Commissioners. It is something that is advertised, so that you as the public could have come there and you can ask any questions that you wanted before they set it, because they do open it to the public, and like I said, there's different things that help set the millage rate in different cities. So Douglasville has a different millage rate than the actual county. All of that breakdown, when you get your property tax bill this year, if you look on the column, you will see every single breakdown for that millage rate. What is the percent, like 0.05, 0.07? You'll see the entire breakdown there of how it is. But like I said, millage rate questions, that is the Board of Commissioners. That is not something that the tax commissioner's office or the tax commissioner has an input in.
Understood, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you go in like now to do the exemption for your age?
You can come in now. No, you can come in now. If you're the homeowner of the January 1st of this year, you can come in, but you will not get it awarded until the following year, because the deadline for this year has been, it reached on April 1st. But it will automatically go in for the following year once you have all your documents in place.
Yes, question regarding, senior. Let's just say, like in his case, if he's become a senior, reached the age of becoming a senior before I do we have to vote, and we're both on the house, do we need to both be, reach the same age at the same time?
No, he can file for the homestead exemption.
That also goes for disability, right?
Yes, the disability, they have to be listed on the deed. And it requires certain documentation, and like I said, his homestead clerk will give you the list of all those documentations that are required in order for them to approve it. Any more questions? Oh, this is awesome. Now you guys can have Eugene, and you can ask him anything you want, to the appeal, anything you want.
Y'all also have a meeting for
Eugene, you're next. Come on to the dice block.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Eugene Roberts.
Don't you help people with the form you need to get somebody out of jail? Like, you say your taxes was paid. That's what your office does.
No, we can give you a receipt.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Eugene Roberts. I work for the Tax Assessor's Office or the Appraisal Department in the county. I've been in this business for about 20 years now. So, I'm not sure what anybody has any questions about, but what I'm gonna talk about is what we do. And if you have any questions outside of that, we'll go from there. What we do is we value property for tax purposes, and our valuation date is January 1st. Our job is to value all tangible property in Douglas County. And all tangible property basically equates anything that you can touch. So we value real estate, we value business personal property, if you're curious, is the inventory in Walmart, the shelves, that sort of thing, desks that sit in an office building, computers, the chairs you would be sitting in, this podium, anything you can literally literally touch. That's tangible property. We also value mobile homes, we value boats, we value aircraft, we value cars. Cars are initially valued by the state of Georgia. As you know, when you buy a car, you get to pay that nice, beautiful TABT tax fee, because it's a fee, it's not actually a tax. But you get to pay that fee, and that fee, if you believe the fee was not correct, you have to come to my office and you get to file an appeal. And I'm going to talk about cars, but I'll get into the appeal process as well. But the appeal process for filing for a motor vehicle is 45 days from the due date of the tax. And that's a tricky statement because the due date of tax can change. If you buy a car from a dealership, you have 30 days to get your tag. If you buy a car from me, I'm not a dealer, you got 7 days to get your tag. So that 45 days from due date of tax can change depending on how the car is purchased. One other thing my office does is once we set the values for any tangible property, you have the right to file an appeal. In most cases, you have about 45 days to file an appeal. In that 45-day period, you need to contact us, send us a letter. We have forms on our website, we have forms in our office. If you don't like our form, you can get a napkin, you can write on the back of the agenda right here. It really doesn't matter how you file, as long as you file it written. The only thing you cannot do is email. We have an online process as well, so we have a lot of ways to file appeals. If a person wants to believe the value of their property is not correct, you have a deadline, which is 45 days from the date we sent the notice, which is usually sometime in June, to file that appeal. That appeal can take up to 6 months to work. If we don't change the value of that appeal, it'll go to the Board of Equalization, which means it'll come into this building, and you'll get scheduled for a hearing. If we do believe the value is incorrect when you make a change, you have 30 days if you don't like that change. In filing an appeal, what people fail to understand is, I have no idea what your house looks like. I haven't been inside your house, I can only see what's on the outside. So if you believe your value is incorrect, the only way to get it right is to actually let us know. And that's for you to do. You can come file an appeal, tell us that the value is not right, but you also have to, if you really want it right, you need to let us see the property physically inside and out. In other words, you help us to help you, we can get it right, and you will pay your fair share of taxes. Our job is to actually get the values correct and to be fair and equitable and uniform across the county. That's what our job is, that's what our mission statement is every day of the week. We have 56,000 parcels in Douglas County, which is 56,000 real estate parcels in Douglas County, 8,000 business personal property parcels, 2,207 boats, 207 mobile homes, and 8,259 personal property accounts. We have 20 people in our office. Mission difficult, I'm gonna say it that way. But it's not impossible. We do mass appraisals. We don't do fee appraisals, so we don't come out to every house every year. We get our characteristics from the day the house was built, and usually right around the time it's finished, and we keep that data so we can keep a record of what that property is. When you make any changes to your house, you take out permits, we get those permits. Once you know you have a permit, we get that permit. We'll also come back out to your house to see what has changed about your house. If it's something minor, there's probably no value change. Painting your house does not cause a value change. However, deferred maintenance does cause a value change, but we don't see those. We try to get out to each property once every 3 years whenever possible, and as much as possible, we try to get out to every house every 3 years to re-inspect it, but even then, we're only inspecting the outside. So if there's damage to your property on the inside, we will not see it, we will not know it. That's why you have the right to file an appeal. Also, our valuations are done through statistics, which means we're valuing the entire neighborhood at one time, not just your house. So we take the sales that happened in your area the prior year, And we use all those sales, not 3, all of them. So if you have 20 sales in your neighborhood subdivision, we use all 20. If you have 50, we use all 50. If you have 3, we use those 3. And we try to group the properties to where it's to similar properties, not different. So let's say you have a house built in 1965, you have a house built in 2001, and you have a house built in 2024. We will not use those 3 properties together to value the property. The house built around 1965 will be used to value the 1965 house. A value. Man, what'd you say?
I said you did buy my house.
No, I have not. I just guessed. But we try our best not to value properties with properties that are not similar. So when we say similar, we try to do it similar age, condition, grade, square footage, those sorts of things. Now, there are going to be adjustments made depending on age. So let's say your house built in 1965. We're going to use houses that are built past 1965, some before 1965. But we try to stay within a 5 to 10 year range of year, and then try to keep the square footage close. But we do that to try to keep it uniform across the county. So neighborhood by neighborhood by neighborhood value together. That being said, as I said, we do our evaluation statistically. So anytime you're doing large valuations of large properties, there is a margin of error. And so there are times when your values will be off. And if it's off, you have the right to file. That's when you should file an appeal if you believe it's off. High or low? And I know people might file appeals if it's low, but you'll be surprised. I've had people do that too. Yes, ma'am.
I appealed last year and
Shame
I
on
did
you.
receive my, my tax letter last week and it said $299. It said $299 C freeze on it.
That's a law. So that's a freeze because you went to Board of Equalization and you showed up.
Yes.
And because you went to Board of Equalization and showed up and you presented evidence, you got current year plus 2, what they call value hold. Now, that 299C value hold is a value hold that will be on your property for current year, so 23, so 23, 24, 25. And that, we'll continue to appraise your house during those years. So just understand in 2026, you'll get a large jump in most cases.
So that means I'm turning 62 next month. Like you said, I won't be able to
So
file.
you need to come visit me after you turn 62.
Right. Okay.
And just come visit the tax commissioner's office. Fill out the paperwork to increase your homestead. Hopefully everybody here does have a homestead, am I right? Who in here lives in that house that does not have a homestead? You need to come see me tomorrow.
Do you take the 62-year proof to her or you?
You're gonna take it to her, but you just don't, it's just a copy driver's license. It's just a copy driver's license.
Okay, because when I went last week, that's why I was come here. I did question the lady. She gave me a form to fill out. It asks, if you're disabled, and then they ask the monthly income and Social Security.
Yes.
But I am Social Security. I did apply for Social Security, but you don't get your Social Security check until 2 months after. So it won't be until November.
No, that's fine. It's not gonna kick in until 2025 anyway, so that's no big deal.
Okay.
But just so you understand what that's for is income does play into the homestead that you would get. So the more the income, the better the exemption that would be, sort of. So that's the reason why I asked for the income. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 2 houses just sold in my neighborhood, one's on the market for $300,000, it's on an acre, and it looks like it's about the same size as what my house is, all built within the same time.
Okay.
And the one next door has a pool, and they're on a half acre, I'm on a half acre, and like I said, the house. So does that mean my house would potentially go up in value because those were sold at higher prices, or does the sales price have nothing to do with it?
That would be sort of correct.
What's wrong?
No, sort of correct. I said sort of. Right, wrong.
Just because, they gave their argument to me when I went to the, just because two people sold their house in my neighborhood
That's why I said sort of.
for like okay, go ahead. They should up mine because I'm not gonna sell.
Doesn't
The
matter.
price could go back down.
The state says that the value property is fair market value. And fair market value would be market value. Market value, how do you get market value? If you have your house appraised, what are they gonna use?
No, I'm talking about
No,
their house.
what if you went to have an appraiser come to your house to value your property, what are they gonna use to value your property? It's home and sold in your neighborhood, so that's the value of your house. The value of your house for tax purposes and the value of your house for selling purposes is the same as of January 1st. So if you will sell your house around January 1st, your value should be about the same as what we have. So that's why I say you're wrong.
I say it's not fair.
It is fair.
I can be right there.
No, it's actually fair. It's actually fair. And and the reason it's fair is because of the way the tax code is written. That's not done by Douglas County. That's done by state of Georgia. So it's your portion of the millage rate, of the digest, or the budget, I guess you would say, that you would have to pay. So that's the way it's based. So that's why the fair market value is important for tax purposes. And that's why it's important for us to get it right, because we don't want you to overpay, and we don't want someone else to underpay. Yes, ma'am?
How can the value of a property go up 620% in 1 year?
Because we made a mistake in most cases. If we did not value it in those
I'm
times,
sorry?
we might not have valued it right, and we might not value
It's been like that for
right.
38 years.
If it, no, I'm saying this, if it was, let's say you made the same for 10 years, or close to the same for 10 years, and then you had a market jump like we had in 2022, when people were buying houses literally $30,000 more than what they were asking for. You had builders in 22 who were getting contracts from people and then cancel those contracts because somebody else was willing to pay that builder $50,000 more.
Yeah.
That's what actually happened. These are these are actual things that happen. If it's land, we probably did not read
My
that.
yard, it's mainly a creek that runs through my yard, and I'm paying 620% more in taxes this year than last year on a creek that runs through my yard.
Taxes have nothing to do with what we're talking about. Value.
It's
Not
value.
the taxes.
Okay, that's what I meant, though. The value went up 620% on the creek that runs through my yard.
And when was the last time that the value of land changed?
I'm sorry?
When was the last time that the value of your land changed? Because we revalued land, which we have been doing lately, because they had not been doing it in the past, that could happen.
Seer.
Land value.
It's part of my
It's part of it, but land values go up just like everything else. Just like a house goes up, land values go up.
Senior exemption.
600.
So I have a question, Eugene.
Yes, ma'am.
So earlier I spoke to getting a home inspection.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone wants to appeal their assessed value,
Mm-hmm.
if they get a home inspection and it shows that they have a lot of stuff going on with their house, can that lower the assessed value of the property?
Yes.
Get your home inspections, people.
Yes, you can.
What you say, what did you say?
I'll tell you what she said. She said, get your home inspections. Because the statement was, can a home inspection help you with your appeal? Yes, it can. Because if we can see that you have deferred maintenance, which is what she's talking about, things that haven't been done that need to be done, those things can help you with an appeal. If you have an appraisal done, it can also help you with an appeal. So if you get an appraisal done somewhere around January, somewhere within a year, so around first of the year, end of the year, same thing. It can help you with your appeal too. We want, as I say, we want it right. There are things that happen all the time that we don't see. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Robert, how does the influx, you kind of alluded to it, the influx of companies purchasing homes in communities impact the assessed value? Because it's been said in the news that, and you alluded to it, that people are paying $30,000 over, $50,000 over the assessed values of homes. So that impacts people in the community. They're paying higher taxes. And there's been a prediction that those values, those inflated values are going to fall. That impacts So like, what are you all, what can you all do in that case? Because at the end of the day, our taxes are going up, we're paying more because of companies buying homes and people overpaying for homes, they're not paying more than what they're worth. And so what can we do in regards to that?
Well, to answer your question, most large companies like First Key Home, they don't overpay for cars, they underpay for anything. And what they usually do, they buy bulk. So they buy 20, 30 houses at one time. In most cases, they don't overpay for homes. People who are overpaying for homes are people like you and I, because they wanted to be in a house and out of an apartment, and they probably lost a couple of deals they were trying to get hold of, so they got anxious and antsy, and they knew interest rates were going up in 2022. You'd be surprised who was buying houses for a lot of money. And to answer your question, what we do something called sales ratio study. And that sales ratio study, we can see who's overpaying and those are outliers. We toss out the outliers. We don't use the high. We don't use the low. We try to stay consistent. So we actually try to fix that problem. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. One of the houses that I was talking about that is for sale now, it was purchased May of this year for $167,000.
Okay.
And they're selling it for $300,000.
Did it do any work to the house?
They needed it.
If they did little work to the house, and it's, now selling and sold, we don't look at what's selling, we only look at what's sold. So if it's selling for 300 and it only sells for 250, and if it was an investor, in that case, they basically stole the house from the person. I hate to use the word, but they kind of stole the house from the person they got it from, because they got it in a private stress state.
Probably a flipping house.
Yeah.
So, but my question is, being to how in May it sold for the 167, and then
Later on,
say
it might sell
does
for more.
sell for 300,000.
We'll look at the condition of that house.
Then you go with.
We look at the
condition.
condition.
Then are you looking at my house that is?
No, not
Apples for apples.
Well, we're looking, we have to keep after that. So if that house has been put in good condition because it sold for $300,000 and it originally sold in average condition for 167, and yours is in average condition, we would keep that, we would keep your value around the 167.
Okay.
We would not raise your value because of it. So we have to condition, we have to look at it for what it is.
Okay.
And we can't say, it's a household, $300,000, and that's it. No. We look at everything about that house. And we make adjustments to everything about that house. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just kind of reiterate when you kill. So you will kill the home as well as vacant land as well?
You can kill intangible property.
Okay. And I'm just reiterating what she stated because I'm going through the same issue. I bought a vacant land next to my property. Of course, it has a creek. Actually, it's like a runoff where all the rainwater goes out.
Okay.
So that's why this year, and I noticed it kept decreasing, but when I look at it, this particular land is, you really can't build on it. So basically, that's why I see what you're saying. That's why also I'm.
If you have a vacant piece of land that cannot be built on, if you cannot build on it, you will need to get a certification, something certified saying that you cannot build on it. And if you can get that, bring it to our office, we'll look at it.
I guess.
As unbuildable land.
So you're saying I need to get a,
Some type of report, some type of engineering report,
Survey.
certification, not a survey.
No, not survey.
You need someone's gonna say it cannot be, it's gonna be a certification saying that the land is unbuildable for some reason or another. There is land that's unbuildable. An engineer.
Civil engineer.
Yes. Over here, lady in black.
I have two questions. My first question is, last year, just the surplus in the state of Georgia, our taxes were.
I know the answer to your question already, you're not getting that issue.
Okay, were offset by the surplus. So my question is, are we earmarked for that for this year?
No. That was given by the state of Georgia, as you know, and that's a government thing, and that's based on if the state itself has a surplus. That's not a Douglas County surplus, so that was a one-time thing.
One time.
It's happened in the past, so it happens periodically, but it's a one-time thing, so you won't see that this year. That was only for people who had homesteads, and they got a $15,000 additional homestead last year.
Okay. And my second question is in regards to the movie studio, the movie making studio.
Yes.
How does that impact my real estate taxes? Because, there has to be some kind of subsidy for them. So I'm paying for that.
You talking about that studio?
I know she's talking about it. I'm trying to figure out how to answer that question. That's trying to figure out how to answer that question. Well, I can say this. That is development authority land. So the development authority actually owns the land and the assets there. So they were given a tax incentive based on the number of jobs they're going to bring in. Is it actually affecting your tax bill? No, not really, because they do pay an abatement. So they do pay something. They pay an abatement. They pay something. They pay an abatement.
Subsidizing the rest.
And
homeowners.
well, everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. So everybody. So that's why I say, yes, there's a yes and no that they do pay something, and they have to bring in so many jobs. And as they bring in those jobs, it kind of what man?
Businesses pay something.
The development authority. So that's a development authority account. So I can tell you about a project. So there is a 10-year contract that they made with Douglas County.
Okay.
And that's something that my office has nothing to do with. That's the Board of Commissioners and the Development Authority does that.
There's no requirement to hire people from Douglas County?
Yes, do.
There's a requirement that they hire
Yes,
people
ma'am.
from Douglas County?
They have to have Douglas County, they gotta have, and they have to have, yeah, not all, it's a certain percentage.
80%?
I don't know the percentage, I don't have the contract in front of me. But they have to hire Douglas County residents, they also have to have an investment of so much money into Douglas County. So Douglas County is getting money back from that project.
Excuse me, is this a movie theater you're talking
No.
about?
Studio.
Studio?
Like lighting.
Oh,
That's all the way to 166. Yes, 2 right from the house. That's what my taxes are. They got
That's
the
not his studio. I have no idea, that's not his studio. All right, last question, in the back.
Consider a neighboring house when you do an appraisal on a home?
A neighboring house how?
The condition of a neighboring house, say if it's kind of run down and the house beside it is relatively much nicer, you take it out?
So, you mean like a functional obsolescence or?
When you appraise a house, we talked about that earlier, right? So if the neighboring house is, they're not cutting the lawn, it's just run down.
It depends on how bad it is. So yes.
That'd be a law.
I'm told my time is up. Correct. If anybody has any other questions, just come to 6200 Fairman Road, and I can answer them. If not, me, my staff can also do that.
Second floor?
Yes, second floor.
Thank you.
You will.
Joe Douglas, I'm a real estate appraiser. I'm a fee appraiser. We're going to talk about that in just a second. I'm on the Board of Equalization, okay? And this already been mentioned earlier. When you want to appeal your fair market value, and I'm going to put that in quotes because that's not what that is. I'm going to put that in quotes, okay? And when you get ready to appeal that, you can appeal that 3 different ways, okay? And I'm going to go over those 3 ways, but the primary way is through the Board of Equalization, okay? There are 2 boards for Douglas County. There needs to be a 3rd, okay? Actually, we're at that population level where there needs to be a 3rd, but right now there are 2 boards, and there are 3 members each, okay? There are 3 members on each board. Here's one here. She's a board member, Ms. Dewberry, okay? We are citizens of the county. We are appointed by the grand jury, okay? So we're citizens of the county. We're paying taxes just like you are. We're not from somewhere else.
How do we get on the board?
How do you get on the board? You're appointed by the grand jury. How does that happen? I don't know.
Oh,
I do not know. Bo McLean is a Superior Court judge, and we were talking one day, and he says, you know, I heard they need some help down at the BOE. Okay, and that's, okay, so you're appointed. Now, how your name gets into the hat, no, that's beyond.
Normally, you fill out an application.
You fill out an app, okay?
Fill out an application.
And on that board, we listen to tax appeals. We listen to uniformity. We're going to talk about a uniformity issue here in just a minute. Value, fair market value. Denials of homestead exemptions, okay? That's what we cover, all right? So, I'm also a hearing officer. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. So, everybody, if you own property, you're going to get a tax bill, right? So, we're going to take the fair market value, and we're a 40% assessed state, right? This millage rate we talked about, you've heard about it already. Who establishes the millage rate? Who?
Politicians.
Who? Wait a minute now, wait. Who? The board of who? Commissioners and the board of? Education.
City council.
Can we? The city? Okay, and then the cities have the city council. They're going to add to that. But can we stay with the county? Okay, we've got to have the cities too, right? So this is the result of this, which is the result of this and this, okay? The only thing you can go to meetings and argue this, the millage rate, all right? But once you have the bill, okay, then the only thing you can appeal is this. You with me? That you can appeal that on any property, like he said, any tangible property, you can appeal that. Y'all with me? Kind of see how this process works?
One quick question. For those who don't know what a millage rate is, can you explain that?
Sure, I can explain the millage rate. The millage rate is I'm trying to do it in layman terms. The millage rate is your portion of what the county budget is to run for that year. So you take that portion and you multiply it by the 40% value. Yes.
Okay, so I'm just throwing out some numbers here. Let's say the millage rate is 32. 32, that's $32 per thousand. Okay? So this number here is going to be, remember your decimal point, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, remember that? Okay? So when you multiply that, milli means thousand. Like milligram, right? Okay. So let's work more in why. Here we go. Okay, why appeal? The fair market value is too high. You're establishing homestead exemption. I heard somebody that didn't have their homestead exemption. Always check and make sure. I'm assuming everybody has their homestead exemption. If you own a piece of property, you get some level of homestead exemption. When you turn 62, you get a little big chunk of that homestead exemption that eliminates that portion.
Eliminates.
Yeah. Can I get a homestead exemption on any property else?
I give up. Can you?
No. Why?
Rental. Okay, you have to live there.
Correct.
I'm sorry. You have to live there. You have to live there. You can't get them on your rental. okay, or on your commercial building, okay? Establish homestead exemption. So the process, I'm gonna zip through the process, okay, because this is all in one,
How much comes down to 65 years old? I'm just curious.
about 70%.
Okay, thank you.
It's big chunk on that.
You get your assessment received, okay, you got 45 days to appeal, then you may request supporting information, and that goes both ways. So let's say you're going to appeal your taxes, okay, you're going to appeal this fair market value. You're going to appeal it. That house, they've got it way too much. There's no way. That lot, it's way too much. I'm going to appeal it. So what you need to bring to the board is information to prove, yep, they made a mistake. This is a trial. It's a trial, okay? And we're the judge. And whatever you bring in there, we're going to go, yeah, looks pretty good. And then the county is going to go, well, here's what we came up with. And then we try to settle that. You with me? So this supporting information, and I say that goes both ways, you need to send that into the county and say, hey, wait a minute, I did my research, I did my homework, I think it should be less, and here's why. Here's my homework, here's some sales, here's some land around here, okay, to back up what I'm saying. So you're going to send that in so that they can rebut it if necessary. And these are human beings, y'all. They're not the enemy. They can look and go, oh, yep, we made a mistake, and it's settled. You with me? And you, at the meeting, prior to the meeting, you can ask them for the information they're going to use to substantiate that property value. Make sense? But you have to ask for it. They ain't gonna send it just because you're a nice guy. You have to ask for it. So submit taxpayer evidence to the appraisal office at least 10 days prior to the meeting so that they have time to look it up. Okay? If you don't submit it, we don't have to listen to it. If you don't submit it and they don't have an opportunity to rebut it, then we can reject it all. You with me? It's kind of like discovery. Y'all heard of discovery?
Mr. Douglas, it may not even get to you all.
Right.
If once you file the appeal, they look at it and they say, hey, we're gonna just lower it whatever amount, and we agree to it, you won't even go to you.
Correct. You are correct. If the board, if they say, no, we're right, then the BOE or hearing officer or arbitration kicks in. Okay? So, what evidence do you need to bring? Residential, even if it's residential or commercial, you need to have sales of similar and preferably duplicate properties as yours the year of assessment. He touched on this. The year of assessment, okay? So if you're appealing this year, it needs to be sales in 2023. Not 2020, don't let them bleed into 2024. Okay, because the value that they're coming up with is as of January 1st. Okay, so theoretically, nothing's happened after that. You with me? So it's got to be within the year of assessment, not the current year sales. Use county information. I'm going to show you how to find that in a minute. Use county information, FMLS. She's got that. Agents, look, what's that word? Closed sales, not listings. We don't count listings. Closed sales, they have to be closed, okay? We don't care what somebody asks for a piece of property. I don't care. I want to know what it's sold for, okay? So, agents, closed sales, not, what's that word? Not what? Garbage in, garbage out. We're not going to listen to it because it's garbage. Okay? It's estimates. You can't, it's not verifiable. Okay? Proof of uniformity. Similar properties, you can get that from the county, fair market values that may be higher than your property. So if you live in a subdivision, a pretty ubiquitous, everybody's house is pretty much the same, you can go on their website and I'm going to see what they have your house at, what your house is at, what your house is at, your house is at. And don't be doing a whole lot of cherry picking, but go through there and it should be uniform. Pretty uniform, within a few, okay, within reason. And generally speaking, by the way, this county's really good at that, okay? They don't make too many mistakes. They have 57,000 properties to appraise. They do a pretty good job, okay? I'm telling you from experience. I've been doing this for, how long we've been married? Okay. You can use rental rates, okay? Pictures, she mentioned home inspection, bring pictures, unfinished spaces. We had one not too long ago where the garage area, the area over a garage was unfinished. They didn't know that because they don't go inside your house, okay? So she was appealing saying, hey, this whole space up here is unfinished. And she had pictures and all, oh, okay. And it got lowered, okay? You don't have to do this. You can hire me, or you can hire a representative, an attorney, a real estate agent to do it for you. But if you do, they must be registered with the assessor's office, okay? You can't just come in off the street and say, hey, I'm representing her. No, 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 no. Okay, they have to be, you got to do the paperwork, okay? Who can appeal? No, that's right. Who can appeal? Anybody with real or personal property, homestead exemptions. In my world, I think it's the fiduciary responsibility of attorneys and real estate agents to make sure that you know to get your homestead exemption. So you tell everybody you know, all of your friends, all of your relatives, everybody at the gathering, make sure you wouldn't believe how many people we have come in didn't know to get it. Okay? Make sure you get that. What is the difference between a mass and a fee appraiser? They're mass appraisers. They ain't got time to walk in the doors of every room of 56,000 properties every year. So they do mass appraisals, okay? So naturally, they're going to be off a little bit maybe on one specific property. It just makes sense. Fee appraisers, on the other hand, are very specific to your property. We appraise one property at a time, one house at a time, one building at a time. Board of Equalization, Board of Assessors will review, amend if necessary, okay? You might not even make it to the BOE, right? If there's no change, a hearing is scheduled. There's our hearing scheduler right there. A hearing is held, a decision is made, and let's say we make a decision and you're not happy with it. You can appeal that. You got 30 days. And you can appeal it to the Superior Court, okay? A hearing officer, just kind of put in BOE, only one person. That's a hearing officer. It's the same story. Hearing is scheduled, hearing is held, you can appeal. By the way, if you're not happy with what the Board of Equalization comes up with, you can appeal it. And so can they. So can the county. That goes both ways. The difference is it $500,000 or million?
$500,000.
Okay.
No homestead.
Non-homestead. Okay, I apologize. Somewhere I got it in my head that it's a million, so it's $500,000 in value. So this could be a property like you own, 500 acres in the south part of the county somewhere. You don't live there. You with me? So it's got to be worth at least $500,000 and non-homestead. You don't live there. Okay? That's what a hearing officer does, and he's got to be an appraiser and that kind of stuff. And then there's the arbitration, where an independent fee is. This is where you get into the legal issues. You have filing fees, clerk of court, the judge is assigned, all that within 45 days.
And
Most of you,
you gotta have fee appraisal too.
yeah, I got that right here. Got a fee appraisal. Okay? Now that's the judicial. Most of us aren't going to fool with that one. I have this. Look, this is a schematic of BOE, hearing officer arbitration, how all that works. I have copies of that over there you can get when we finish. I've got some resources here. I'm going to show you this in a minute. I'll leave this up here if you want to take a picture of that. These are the links, okay, that I'm about to show you one literally. Now, here I have this, and I have a copy of this you can get on your way out. This is a literal appeal, all right? This is one I did last year, all right? So the lady, look at the subject. It doesn't do it on the screen, does it?
What?
There you go. Lower it.
Lower.
Lower it
All right. Subject, the subject property in 2022 has an assessed fair market value of $389,500. So now look, 1,849 square feet in that house. The unit of comparison is price per square foot. The unit of comparison is price per square foot. So take the sale price and divide by the square feet. Money always goes on top. Money on top, square feet below for building. Okay? Houses, any building. So that's the unit of comparison. If you're talking about land, acreage is dollars per acre. That's the unit of comparison. So look, so I converted this assessment, this $389,500 by the square footage, and it got $210 per square, $210 per foot. You see that? That's the county. That's what the county had it at. So this lady called me, and I said, let's go find some sales. And I found there's 1, 2, there's 3 sales. These are sales. This is the sale date, right? These are the sale prices. It's roughly the same. By the way, the subject was built in 05. It's a 5-acre lot, all right? So you got to find apples for apples, right? They got to be, you know, pretty much the same. So I found these 3 sales. There's sales. There's the lot size, roughly the same year built. And then I divided out the home square foot by the sale price in order to get the unit of comparison, which is price per square foot. You see that? And then I just kind of took an average, right? 186 a foot. You see that?
Yeah.
Notice, 186 is less than 210. You with me? Uniformity. Uniformity is constitutional. It's a law. This is to make sure that hers is roughly in line from a county standpoint, uniformity. So I took those same sales, the Kilroy Lane, the Lambert Road, I took those same sales and I looked at what the county had it assessed for. Look, this number, this number, this number, same property, same years, divided that out, 191. You with me? So, it appears that the 210, is a shade high, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see that? And I showed it here on sales. And I showed it here on uniformity. You can use either of these or only one of these. On your form that you fill out to appeal, you get to check sales, uniformity, or both. You with me? You can use either one in your argument. So it appears that, so when I multiply this number times the square footage, it looks like it should be somewhere between 344 and 353, not 389. You see how I did that?
Yep.
Y'all can do this.
Now, Jeff.
Right?
Jeff, just so you know, however, though, the 196, the 210, That is uniform.
So,
That is uniform. The 210 to the 196, that is uniform.
yeah.
They won't be exact, so you kind of misleading.
Well, I'm not trying to be misleading. There's a bracket in there. That he is correct. It's a range. It's a reasonable range, but it's still low. Okay. We walked in. By the way, and I sent this in. I sent this in to the appraisal office. We walked into the BOE hearing. Okay. I was not an official in the hearing. I was defending. I was working for this lady. You with me? I wasn't. I'm a good prostitute. I play both sides. So it looks like, right? So it looks like the indicated value is somewhere between here and here. We walked into the BOE hearing, and the county said, "Hold on a minute. If you want to save some time, we'll make this off." And it was, somewhere down there. You see what I mean? They're not the enemy. They're just trying to get it. Okay, so what do? We got a little tighter, and it was in the homeowner's bill. Now, we're the Board of Equalization. We can't go up. That's not equal, is it? If you come in way low, if they made a mistake and come way low, we can't raise it. We can't raise it. I think it's wrong, but we can't raise it. We can lower it. We can keep it the same. We can't raise it. So it kind of puts the onus on the word equalization, doesn't it? Because I have seen properties come through across our desk, and I went, y'all have that way too. Okay? Because we're trying to be fair and equitable. Okay? All right, last thing. You're going to have to bear with me just a sec. I'm going to show you how to play. Watch this. Y'all watch this. I'm going to start over. Now, y'all, am I up there?
Yep.
All right, so where do we find all of this? Well, I'm just going to pull up Douglas County Tax. Look at there. You see that? Oh, by the way, make sure it's Douglas County, Georgia, because there's a Douglas County, Colorado. So look right here, Douglas County, look at that. Okay. All right. And I'm going to go right down here. So this is easy to find, y'all. Look, that looks familiar. See, Douglas County, Georgia, all that. Look, on the left-hand side there, see that? Homestead exemptions, real property search. I'm just kind of running through here how you can do this on your own. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Look right there. You see it's Q Public, Douglas County, Georgia. Who lives in the subdivision? What's your address? Oh, yeah. 4070. 4070 what?
Water, W-A-T-E-R.
Water Home Court.
You had that mess.
Yeah.
Is that
Public record.
Do you mind if I pull your record up? It's too late now. All right. Anybody? This is a public website, y'all. Look. So there's the parcel number. There's her address, and look. What's this? 4070 Water. Look, owner. 4070 Water. You know what that tells me? No, it tells me she lives there.
Oh.
It's not a rental. So I'm going to look at Homestead Code. She's got it. You see that? All right. So y'all can do this on your neighbor. Now, watch this. I want to go down here. Look, there's more information on. There's more information on her house. It's a one-story house. Look, isn't that important? That's the square footage. What's the unit of comparison? Price per Square foot. It tells us, look, it's got a basement, or it's got, no, I don't know if it's got a basement. Square footage, right? It tells you, gives you a little information on the house. Now, accessory information, look right here. See that? Sales by neighborhood, sales by distance. 1,500 feet. So you know what I'm going to do? Just for kicks, I'm going to go back up here to the map. Watch this. And it's going to show where she is. So there's her place. Isn't this creepy? Look at here. So I'm going to back this up so that I can, so she's in Elk Run somewhere. That's one of your neighbors. You with me? You see what I'm doing? Now, I'm going to back up here. Wait, I lost it. I'm going to back up here, and I'm going to go back to the card. So I'm kind of establishing, making sure she's in the subdivision. For this example, we know this information here. Watch. Sales by distance. You see that?
Yeah.
Watch this. Look at here. Look at all the sales in there. You with me? Guess who uses that? Guess who uses that? Okay? And I do. So if you go up to this little, what is this called, tech people? This thing right here. This thing right here is a sorter, you know, by hind load. Okay? So I'm going to go, look at here. We've got to go, remember, we've got to go back to the year of assessment. So we got to go back to 2023 or 2022. Can't use any of these 2024 sales. So watch. There's one. See that? Staghorn, Elk Run. All of these did not sell for whatever reason. They were related parties. They gave them to their kids, whatever. But look right here. There's a sale 382. There's a sale 344. There's a sale 314. So now I have to ask myself, why did that one sell for 314 and that one sell for 382? Okay. Apples for apples. We've got to make sure they don't have a basement, and one does and one doesn't. Apples for apples. So that's why you have to send that information to the county so they can make sure they're apples for apples. You with me? You got to be fair about it. Look at here. Look at all this information here. Elk Run, here this one. Sold for 382. Here's the date it sold. It's a valid sale. Look, the year it was built, the square footage. Now look at that difference right there between this one at 382, has 3,100 feet. This one is 344, and it's how many feet?
17.
You see the difference? You with me? There's your sales. There's your sales. Uniformity. Go back, and you pick out 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these sales. And you go back, you see this number right here? That's your parcel number. And you go back, and it's going to give you that detail on that house. And that house, you can pull that up, and you can see that that house is a bit larger. You can see the sale information, okay, and you can see the total price tag. Okay? Questions? Comments?
Can you pull the taxes on that too, if somebody paid the taxes?
Yeah.
Where at? Show me where.
No,
You don't have to just show me where it's at. You have to show me.
oh, well, I need to look.
Keep going down.
Yeah, I've got that. Here's what I have, y'all.
Tax commission site.
Is this, and I'll leave this website up if you like. The county changed their mapping system, but they kept an older system, and that's this one. And I love it, and I hope they never get rid of it, because watch this. Watch this. What was your address again?
407.
40. What? Watch this.
That's your address, Joe.
Hey, what's your address, Joe?
Mine is not listed. that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Watch this. You want to know what it's zoned? Look at here. See that? Watch this. Map themes. See that? Watch this. Look at here. Parcel, phase. Watch here. Zoning. I can tell you what the zoning is. RLD. Isn't that beautiful? That's another map. I'm going to leave it up here if you want to look at that. Okay? Questions?
This one might be for Mr. Roberts, I'm not sure. What if someone files an appeal on their assessed value, and they didn't check both comparability and uniformity? And you notice that maybe one or the other, they could benefit from the other one that they may not have checked. Do you all give them consideration for that, or did they just get deemed to just choose them off?
Well, we already know it's uniform, so that's not, in most cases, that's not gonna really apply anyway. So we're gonna look at the value. We'll look at the value regardless. Let's say you did uniform, we're gonna still look at the value. If you did value, in most cases, if the value is right and it's uniform, if we adjust the value, it's still gonna be uniform.
And what's the time, I know you mentioned, I think I forgot, what's the time frame between, because I think the appeal for tax assessed value was July 31st. What's the time frame between the time that someone may appeal when they will hear something from your office?
It could be up to 180 days.
Oh, that's right, 6 months, right?
Up to 180 days.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Try not to make it that far, but it can.
180 days for what?
For you to hear about your appeal.
Okay. All right, so you have a sample here. You're welcome, free, no extra. Is there a tip jar? Okay, this is free, all right? This is the appeals process grid. Okay, you're welcome to read that. This is a sample of the appeal form. And right over here, you'll see over here, value uniformity.
Yep.
This is the new one. Okay, here's your resources. Okay, I'll be around for a few minutes if you got any additional questions.
You talking about this right, the field sample?
You have that.
You do all the work that you
Some people most people charge a fee and then a percentage of the savings. So a fee might be $300-400, and then most of the time it'll be at least half of the first year's tax. So if they save you $500, they're going to add it to $250.
So you do all the work yourself?
Yeah, about anywhere from $300 to $500 plus half the stuff. But they do everything for you. They file, they come to the meeting, that you don't even have to show.
I wanted to work out the taxes paid. I went to the same website.
Yeah. Tax.org.
It's what?
DouglasTax.org.
DouglasTax.org.
Okay, we don't want to keep you beyond the time, so we're nearing the 8:30 time. Mr. Douglas and Mr. Robert, they're going to stick around for a few minutes, so if you have something you want to speak with them personally about, they will be glad to help you. I just want to thank my staff. All my staff is here. Stand up, you down here. Staff. So they in conjunction with Mr. Douglas, put this form together. And if y'all enjoyed it, you got some information, give them a hand. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all, and we're here to serve. We serve, and that's what we do here in the county. And if anything you need regarding real estate, you have a team here tonight, and you can contact any of these offices, and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you so much for coming, and have a good night.